Future Learn and Royal Holloway University presents Equality, Diversity and Inclusion in Theatres.
My name's Ian Manborde. I'm the Equality and Diversity Officer at Equity. My role is to oversee the development of policy, strategy, campaigns and related communications that relates to improving equality, diversity and inclusion on behalf of our members across the entertainment industry. I'm a black man, early 50s. I've got short hair and I wear black glasses. My a key role is to act as secretary to 4 committees: the Women's Committee, LGBT plus Committee, the Race Equality Committee and the Deaf and Disabled Members Committee. Those committees comprise 9 activists, 9 members of the union. Their role is to identify the priorities for the constituent members that fall under the remit of those committees. What are the priority issues that members face who are women, for example? Just using the example of women, they are very broad and wide, and they stretch from anything and everything that relates to sexual harassment, pregnancy discrimination, the issues that relatively older women members face, and allied to that, issues around the menopause as well. So the role of those committees is both to prioritise the key issues for members and then working with me and other members of staff to identify the relevant policy priorities and also the strategy also. One of the things the committees also do is identify which part of the entertainment industry is a particular priority at that point in time. I think, as we all know, the entertainment industry is vast. These issues are complex and they have different nuances and characteristics in different parts of the entertainment industry. So one of the things that I rely on very much is the industry-based knowledge of the members of those committees to help inform not only what the priorities should be, where they are most relevant in the entertainment industry, and how best to affect change over time. What I also do is work with other colleagues across the union in identifying broader strategic priorities. For example, as it relates to issues around socioeconomic status. Class is a big issue in the entertainment industry. You're less likely to get in and get on if you come from a working class background. Also, another massive issue is the crisis around mental health illness. Even pre-pandemic, the relatively precarious nature of getting work and also the levels of abuse that members face when they're in work often mean that members work in what I would refer to as a hostile environment. And so what we're often looking at is the ways of supporting members, for example, who have poor mental health, but really trying to address and tackle the causes and catalysts of what harms our members. So it's a very wide-ranging role, a very challenging role as well. With regards to race and ethnicity, the key way that we approach that very broad, complex issue is, first of all, through our Race Equality Committee. So that's 9 activists drawn from across the union. They're elected for a 2-year period. I would say when we're looking at race and ethnicity, we're looking at a broad spectrum of issues. And one very acute end of that spectrum, we're looking at instances of racism and racist abuse, both in getting work and the experience of work also. And obviously that's a key priority for the union. We are an anti-racist union, and we will take on and we will combat and we will fight racism in the way that it deteriorates the day-to-day experience of our members. An illustration of the kind of racism that members face is a significant piece of work in the union, which is related to poor or no hair and makeup support for members, whether in live entertainment or recorded media. And the issue isn't just poor or no hair makeup support, it's the response that members often receive when they raise and query those issues. At the other end of the spectrum, but just as problematic, is a very concentrated piece of work, which is about the drive to improve proportionate representation and portrayal on stage and screen. That has its own complexities, whether on stage and screen, but we do a significant amount of work directly with theatres through bodies like UK Theatre and the ITC, and also on the recorded media side, directly with production companies, but also with the live broadcasters like the BBC as well. We coordinate that work through exercises where we're monitoring what we feel constitutes evidence of poor portrayal to actually push our argument. So, and in the middle of those spectrums, we have a wide and diverse range of issues also that relate to race and ethnicity. So, for example, we're undertaking a significant piece of work as it relates to the challenges and issues of representation and portrayal for Gypsy Romany traveller members. And also we have a network for members who are non-UK born nationals as well. So just in the field of race, ethnicity, nationality and national origins, we do a phenomenal amount of work. Fundamentally, at the end of the day, what we want is a level playing field for our members in getting work in their experience of work also. But it's a highly politicised piece of work. It isn't just about employment issues. For example, the work often very much is affected by ongoing political issues at a national level. So, for example, the current Police Crime Sentencing and Courts Bill, in effect, attempts to criminalise the lives of travelling people, Gypsy people. And that is very much at the forefront of the work that we're doing with the Gypsy Romany Traveller Network also. So although we're very much concentrated on work in the workplace, we often find that our work is also very much politicised as well. But as in all areas of the equalities activity that I'm involved in, it's highly complex, very challenging work as well. But I think the work of the committees helps ground that focus around policy and priorities also. I think a key reason why I'm highly supportive of the work of this initiative, particularly around improving the way in which audio description gives a truly accurate, informed, definitive sense of those who are acting and performing on stage, is it sits very much parallel to the work of the union. One of our primary goals is to improve portrayal and representation of the diversity of people in the UK. It is hampered if audiences have a poor sense of that degree of diversity. So I very much see this initiative as part of the holistic approach of ensuring that theatres give a comprehensive sense of the diversity of the UK, both on stage and also for theatre goers. I think there are many very practical, sensible solutions that have come out of this initiative. For me personally, one of the most practical is that actors and performers are asked for their perspective on how best their character is described to theatre goers. It's a fairly simple example, but I think it illustrates what the benefit has been from this initiative of taking a step back and asking ourselves, how do we better connect the perspective of those who are performing and those who are coming into theatre as well. So I know there are other innovative solutions that have come out of this initiative, but for me, it's the way in which it connects the primary policy goals of the union with an initiative that improves the overall experience of theatre goers. Ultimately, our goal as a trade union is to ensure that all of our members, regardless of their status and their identity, regardless of whether their ethnicity, their disability, their sexual orientation, have open, fair and transparent opportunities to get work, to stay in work, that work is as stable as possible, and of course that it's as well paid as possible also. We know that there is much good practice across theatre, and we welcome those opportunities to work with those best practice employers. We also know, sadly, that there is much room for improvement also. This initiative, in collaboration with Equity and other partners, is an attempt to push the future of a progressive, engaged, open and collaborative theatre. We very much welcome this initiative as part of our holistic approach to ensuring that theatre is as much engaged with theatre goers as it is those working in theatre also. There's a lot of promise in theatre, regardless of the challenges over the past 15 months. And certainly I wish this initiative well, because it sits very squarely with where the policy priorities of the union are. Equity welcomes this initiative in exploring equality, diversity and inclusion in audio description. It sits very closely with the union's priorities, particularly in terms of improving proportionate representation and portrayal on screen. And it's one of the, we consider, a suitable means to ensure that audience goers get full possible sense of what we're striving for in terms of inclusivity overall in terms of the theatre experience.
Royal Holloway University, supported by the Arts and Humanities Research Council and Vocalise.